Hello, my loves. Today I want to talk about how to self-soothe. So if you are in a place at work or in your home or out and about and you feel a surge of emotion, of negative emotion, whether it's a surge of fear, anger, frustration, or you feel flustered, somebody says something and all of a sudden you're flustered, or you're doubting yourself, or you're feeling insecure, all those types of negative emotions are triggered. Those are triggers. Triggers are just something that cause emotion, cause intense emotion. And they can be happy triggers. They can be something that make us just laugh out loud or make us feel really happy, or they can be negative triggers, something that make us feel angry or scared or full of anxiety. So today I want to talk about self-soothing. A mother naturally will soothe a child that's been hurt. The mother's first inclination is to soothe that child. So if a child's running and then they fall, the first thing they want to do, and then they start crying, the mother wants to put them on their lap and wants to make sure they're okay and kiss their owie and make it feel better and calm them down. They want to soothe the child because the child's upset. Or if they see another child come and push them or take a toy away, they want to get up and they want to help them to stand up for themselves and also to soothe them, that it's okay. They don't have to be bullied in the world, and they just want to give them soothing words and love to help soothe that negative emotion that came up for that child. Unfortunately, too many people grow up in homes with parents that either are very dysfunctional or sometimes lack a little bit of empathy and are not able to enter into the world of the child and really understand what the need of the child is. And so they might handle it in ways that aren't soothing and aren't healthy for the child. A parent's soothing is a precursor to self-soothing. So people that get triggered usually can naturally self-soothe themselves. But if you have a problem doing that, and you know this because whatever triggered you, that trigger stays with you for a while. Like, it's hard to let it go and put it down. If it's something that somebody said to you, you may go over it and over and over it for all day, maybe for days even. You're unable to put it down, or your body just feels in fight or flight mode for hours. Or you have a panic attack. Those type of things are indications that you lacked a soothing parent. Also, they're indications of touch deprivation, because touch is very soothing. And if we, again, had environments where we were abused or where there was sexual abuse, or even, we could grow up as an adult and kind of push away touch because it feels creepy to us. But the human body, the human emotional self needs touch. And so in this video, I want to give you some tools that you can use to help you to start to combat anxiety. I have anxiety attacks and I hate them. They feel horrible, and people that don't have them don't understand that it's not something we're working up. It's something that comes on us, that's triggered in us. And it is an awful feeling. It feels completely like we're out of control. It feels terrifying. And even though we may be completely safe around us, our body signals are giving off the same signals as if we are in danger. And it is an awful feeling. And it could be just somebody gets a little mad at us, or says something rude to us. And then we feel that full danger. And this happens a lot, again, if you've been in a type of abusive situation and you feel it full on. And then it just compounds it when you feel bad about it. Like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way, right? It just compounds it. So instead of going there, just realize and recognize that you're not doing it on purpose. So if you're not doing something on purpose, why should you feel bad about it? It's happening to you. and within you, you've been triggered. So now you can empower yourself. When you are triggered, the number one thing that you need to do at that point is you need to calm your parasympathetic nervous system more than anything else, more than arguing with a person, more than figuring out why you're triggered or anything. It is the acknowledging of, I've just been triggered, and then telling yourself that I'm safe. You can get triggered with unsafe situations, like if somebody robbed us all of a sudden, right? That's going to be stupid to go, I'm being triggered and I'm safe, right? But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these random things that sometimes feel like an overreaction, although they're not, because they come from a place of woundedness and deep pain, you know? So without going into all of that, it's acknowledging as soon as you're triggered, as soon as you feel your emotion go up like that, in one of those ways I described, to just say to yourself right then, I have been triggered. And rather than going into the whole dialogue of why, apply some tools. The number one tool that you want to apply is your breath. And I know people say this all the time, but that is because whenever we're triggered and in fear, our breath shortens. So we start to take slow, quick breaths, and we barely breathe sometimes, you know, like somebody that's in freeze, they're just gonna, right? So your breath becomes very shallow and shortened. So, because I know how this feels so much, it makes me want to breathe. So that's the first thing you do, is you breathe. And sometimes it's just like that. You just go, okay, I've been triggered. And you do a quick deep breath, right? And then you slow it down without going into the dialogue of what triggered me and why it triggered me and, you know, what I went through in the past and, you know, all of that. Try to stop the dialogue as soon as possible and just go into, I am triggered. Let me calm my parasympathetic nervous system down. I'm okay. I'm safe. And then later, once the trigger has subsided and you're fine, then maybe think about what caused it. Is there something you could have done differently? Is there what kind of messages, all that type of thing. You can start going into more detail, more nuances to maybe heal a little bit around that and maybe avoid such a strong trigger next time in a similar situation. But for this video's sake, I just want to get into the tools, some of the tools, and I know I've done a few videos on this, but I was speaking with a client yesterday and I realized I need to do an updated video on this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to tell yourself I've been triggered, and because this stops the thought process, I'm triggered. Oh, I'm triggered. Okay, I'm triggered. Stop the thought process of what's going on or what triggered you. Oh, I'm triggered. And then whether you understand that you've been triggered or not, just, you know, by how you're feeling, you've been triggered. Whether you understand where it came from or why, it doesn't matter. Because I've had anxiety come upon me all of a sudden. I'm like, and I get anxiety over getting anxiety. So I was just like, oh my gosh, here comes the anxiety. And I start feeling anxious about the anxiety, right? So what I'll do is I stop that and I go, okay, I'm triggered. Because sometimes I don't know why the anxiety is there. And that's a lot of the reasons why it gives me more anxiety, because I'm like, okay, why am I getting anxiety? And oh my gosh. And you know, I'm so afraid that I feel like I'm losing control, and I'm so afraid that somebody's going to notice, and you know, all this stuff. And so I just start, okay, I'm triggered. Calm my central nervous system down. Breathe, Liz. Breathe into it. So feel in your body where it is. And for me, I feel right in my chest, right between my breasts, right in that diaphragm area, and I just breathe into it. Sometimes I feel punched in the gut, but wherever you feel it in your body, just breathe into it and slow the breath down little by little. So you might take a few quick deep breaths, but then start slowing that down. Slow the in breath, hold the top of the breath, and then make it even slower going out. And notice, start noticing, tune into your senses. Pick one, might be your hearing. Start. What do you hear around you? I hear the washing machine. I hear the ringing in my ears. I hear me breathing in and out. I hear a car going by. What colors do you see? What's in front of you? What are the colors? What are the objects? Name them. I see plants. I see different shades of green and blue. I see the light dancing on the leaves. Notice what's underneath you. Where are you sitting? I'm sitting on a chair. How do I feel? How's my body feel in the chair? It feels a little heavy. I'm sitting on my foot. My foot feels a little numb. Okay, so you're bringing yourself into the present, because what happens when you're triggered, boom, you want to go out of body and you start to get that surreal feeling and that dizzy feeling. So this is bringing you back into the present moment. And in the present moment, you're safe, reminding yourself, and I'm safe. Everything's safe. It's quiet here. I have 4 walls around me. And so I can quiet my mind, quiet around me, listen. I can look and see, okay, what's solid around me, what is 3D, solid right around me. I might look at textures. I might get more nuanced. I might look at my skin, touching yourself. Then you can go into touching. Okay, so again, that touch deprivation. So what does a mother do as soon as she picks up that child? She wants to pat them and rub them and tell them, it's okay, it's okay. Rubbing the back. It's automatic because we instinctually know that this is soothing. This is soothing. So rub your arms. Another thing I do is I'll rub my arms really good, and then I just kind of rub them down and out my feet, all the way out my fingertips, and then shake it, because I feel like I'm shaking that energy off of me. Whew, shaking that negative energy off. You can give yourself a hug, really hug. You could pat yourself. You can push back further by taking one arm and then pushing it back further, and then doing what I always call the Smeagol. Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, because that always reminds me of that Smeagol. But literally patting yourself, right? And giving yourself a real, hug. And just letting yourself know you're safe. You're safe. Okay? Another thing that you can do is there's a lot of tapping. I did a video on tapping, but tapping is excellent. Even though I feel like I'm not safe right now, I feel unsafe, I totally love and approve of myself. I completely love and approve of myself. Even though I feel triggered and short of breath, I fully love and approve of myself. Okay, you can look up a tapping video. I have one. I can link down below. And there's so many of them, though, way better than mine that I have, that you can look up, and you can go through the sequence of tapping if you're able to. At home, get in the habit of soothing yourself. Don't just wait until you're triggered to learn to self-soothe. Start soothing and giving yourself touch and hug in times when you are fine and you feel good. Times that you're just sitting there watching TV. Here's some things that you can do to self-soothe. And the reason why is because then when you are triggered, what happens is our mind the logical part of our mind gets shut down when we're triggered. When we're highly triggered, we can't think clear. So if we have habits of self-soothing that are already in place, and we are able to at least think, I'm triggered, then those habits will come. We won't have to try to dig and think, okay, what were those things I learned on that video again? Okay, what was it? It's just like I've had habits. I know what's soothing. And the more things you try at home, and you'll find things this is very soothing to me. That's why I keep doing this. This soothes me when I rub my arms and hug myself. So I know that that's one thing that I can do. It's the hugging. It's also sometimes if you're at home, you can put your face down in your arms and you can do a little rocking. So rocking is very soothing, even when you're watching TV. Sometimes if I'm watching a program that's getting intense, and I'll do this. I'm very particular about what I watch, but sometimes it'll still get intense, and then I'll do a little bit of rocking, and sometimes I even put headphones in to listen to something else and kind of watch it and get the gist of it so that I don't get the intensity of something that's on TV. Because even though I'm very picky, there are some things you watch and that I can feel affecting me, and I'm very protective of my energy now. More, that I've gone through my healing journey and stuff. The other thing that you can do is if you have a stuffed animal. Now, this is my sloth, and the story behind him, he's just adorable. Just look at him, okay? And I saw him, and I'm not one to just go buy stuffed animals, but he was so cute, and I ended up bringing him home. And he is so loving and adorable. My grandkids love him too. And you can hug. He's got these big long arms, and he's so soft and squishy, and you can rock and hug with him, and it feels so soothing. I also have a dog that sometimes I'll hug and pet, and I'll put my forehead on my dog's forehead, and my dog will sit here like this and just sit there with me, and we'll touch foreheads, and then I'll just pet him, and that's very soothing to me. So it's finding things that are soothing, having moments like, I just want to have a soothing moment today. I want to get a blanket, a light blanket. It's summertime, but a light blanket you can still get in summertime, and just covering yourself to feel soothed can help. Or reading a book, or sipping on tea and covering yourself, getting in a little corner of the couch or a chair that you love that's so comfortable, and just putting a blanket even over your lap, sometimes just over your lap, or just kind of over. You don't always have to have it fully over you. It could be over you just a little bit. Just having something covering you feels safe and feels soothing. And find a blanket that you love the color of, you love the feeling of it, that it feels soothing just having that blanket alone. So that's another way that you can self-soothe. So breathing, rocking, touching, hugging, curling up into your arms, or curling up into a ball even sometimes, feels really good if you want to curl up into a ball. And just allowing yourself to feel safe, feel soothed, feel loved. Remember, a mother doesn't wait for a child to hurt himself to ever touch that child or love on that child. A good mother does not wait. A good mother brings that child often on her lap just for the joy of that child being there, and holds that child and loves that child. So take time to hold yourself and love yourself and nurture yourself, even before you get to the emergency situation where you're in anxiety. And then it'll make it a lot easier when you do have an anxiety attack out and abroad. It'll make it a lot easier to quickly subdue it and to recover from it. So I hope this has been a helpful video for you. If it has, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And I would love for you to comment. Have you tried any of these techniques? Do you have techniques of your own? I would love for you to share them with us. Let me know if any of these techniques are new to you and that you're going to try them. If you do try them, then come back and tell me how they worked for you. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.